Solutions Women Leaving Law webinar where we're going to talk about the results of the survey that Leopard recently did. I'm so excited to be here. We've been working on this survey for months now, and Laura has some amazing information that I think will be really insightful, not super surprising, but I think very helpful and useful. And I'm excited about our panelists here that will be discussing the results with us. So I'd like you guys to just let me know with a thumbs up. Mary, Laura, and Chrissy, can you guys see my slides? And I'm just going to go to the slideshow. Yeah. All right. So here's where we are. I am going to encourage you to follow Leopard on LinkedIn. We post a ton of great thought leadership content every day. And you can also follow us on pretty much every other social media network that is in existence as well, but LinkedIn is probably the best place to follow us. And I'll put links to all of this in the chat in a minute. We just scheduled our next webinar, which is going to be on July 12th at 1 p.m. And it's a conversation on mid-sized law firms and how they can use CI and data to their advantage. And there's information here for everybody. So whether you're at a big firm, small firm, mid-sized firm, we will be focused on mid-sized firms. Laura and I are both speaking at the ARC Mid-Sized Law Firm Summit. So this is going to be a presentation that Laura's doing there, which is in 2 weeks in Chicago. Wish us luck that we don't get stuck trying to get to Chicago or back home, because the flights have been pretty bad, I think, in general. And lots of people, I think, are having nightmares flying lately. And we're obviously going to talk about this disparity between men and women and just women in general and what's going on in the legal industry. But I want to take us back. And so this photo was taken approximately like March 2020. And this was right before the pandemic. This is just what life was like before we adapted, before the legal industry pivoted. Yeah, I knew it might make some of you chuckle, but I don't know about you guys, but the world has changed so much. 3 years ago, I was in-house at a law firm working every single day in an office where FaceTime was incredibly important, where my performance was judged on how often I was in the office. And today I have my own business where I work for law firms and I work from home and I travel to my clients like Leopard and I do lots of really interesting things. And we have shown that we can still be incredibly efficient and carve new paths and be effective at what we do. And we are innovating, and this industry has been forced to innovate over the last couple of years. And you're going to see a lot of that when Laura speaks. But I can't remember what life was like 2 years ago. And the more law firms talk about going back to the way things were or back to normal, it makes me cringe, because I don't even know what that means anymore, particularly for women who have said, we're not going to do that anymore. We want something different. And the next generation, I'm an Xer, but millennials and the Zs, I think that's after millennials, they're saying they want something different, and law firms have to listen. In an industry where we do things just because, quote, that's the way we've always done things. I mean, how many of you have heard that before at a law firm? We've got to continue to force innovate. So maybe some of you can relate to this. It wasn't that long ago that some of us had BlackBerries at law firms. So there's been this whole idea of a she session, and Laura's going to talk about, it's actually not as astounding as you think, but there's just some nuances here. So I'm excited for Laura to present. And I'm not going to go into all these headlines, but you know that this is happening. We did a webinar last year where we talked about how women are missing from the top ranks of partner. And even though they're in almost unison with regard to going to law school and graduating and going into firms, there's a disparity here. And there's a lot of reasons why. And we did a webinar last month with law school deans about the new generation of law students entering big law firms. And we were talking about this new normal and how, summer classes and new associate classes may be at a little bit of a disadvantage in terms of mentoring programs and networking. And just the conversations on the fly in the hallways that we all had for years working in law firms that they're not having working remotely. So they're, maybe a hybrid is the best way, or there's something new, but they won't know what it was like because they're in this new normal. I heard from a friend over the weekend who's a partner at a top 10 law firm who said to me that his firm is requiring them to be in the office this summer much more because they need to show the summers that they're in the office. So I thought that was another interesting, and there's a financial perk associated with that if they're in the office. Another interesting tidbit that I found out this weekend. So we know all of this. I'm not going to go into all of these data points, but women are not making partner. They're leaving. It's difficult. And we're going to talk about why they're leaving their jobs. I want to stress also that this isn't just women lawyers. I'm not a lawyer. I've been in legal marketing for 20 years, working at some of the top law firms, and people who do what I do are also leaving in droves. Law firm talent is very hard to keep right now, and they're being ported away. So it's every single person, from partners to associates to your marketing directors to your HR directors. You've got to worry about talent everywhere being poached away, and not just from another firm to another industry completely. Okay, so now I'd like to ask our speakers to do a brief introduction about themselves. One of our speakers, Molly, is not able to join us. Her dog has an emergency, so we're very dog friendly here, and we just hope her dog is okay. But you'll see her insights are incorporated within the presentation, as she did speak with Laura beforehand. Okay, so just starting with me, simply because I'm talking, my name is Stefanie Marrone. I am now a law firm outsourced CMO because guess what? I saw a need for a business that didn't exist. So now I work with law firms and legal service providers, and I go in and I do part-time work for them. And I also do consulting work on social media. And I was in-house at Proskauer and Sullivan and Cromwell, Mayer Brown, Paul Weiss, and a lot of other firms for 20 years, and decided I didn't want to go back full-time in one law firm if it meant I had to be in the office every single day. So there's a lot of people like me who are still in the legal industry, but doing things our way and differently. And I never expected to do this, nor did I ever want to be an entrepreneur, and I still don't bill very well. So if